Do we remember the Gong Show? Am I dating myself? Is that 60s or 70s? I don't know. I remember that. But every time we do that in class, we always remind ourselves of the cool Gong Show. So, well, welcome everybody. I am Sherry Zach Morris, and I am the co-founder of the Yoga Vista Academy, which specializes in teaching teachers, yoga teachers, how to teach to the 50-plus demographic. Because by the time we've reached 50 years old, there's probably something going on in our bodies. If it's arthritis or some kind of heart issue, blood pressure. So all of those things start to kind of creep in, maybe even a little earlier, right? So I always like to be a little playful. We're going to be doing some dancing, okay? We're going to be doing some swaying. We're going to be doing some moving. And we're going to be testing some of the functions of our body that maybe we didn't know about. So I call this little presentation, the 3 things the body loses with age. And we're going to see if you guys can even guess what those 3 things are. It's not your memory and it's not your keys, okay? We're not going to go in that direction, okay? We're going to talk about the body. In our body, what do we lose when we start to age? And the best part is how yoga can bring them back. So I teach to people, my oldest student is 96 years old, and she is amazing. Her ability to bend down and pick things up and reach up to the cupboards and to balance herself has improved so much since she's been doing yoga. So at any age, it doesn't matter. So we're going to work on some really cool things today, and we're going to kind of be looking at our bodies. So I'll periodically tell you what to look at in the handout, okay? So you can have it handy. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background, just real quick. For 25 years, I worked in the high-tech world. I traveled around the world doing technical training, so I would be up in front of people like this, and I'd be talking about some technical product. Well, for 25 years, I did that, and I ended up getting so much stress in my body, my neck and my shoulders, my back, and it was really bothering me. So I decided at the age of, I think I was about 47, I said, I'm going to go to yoga. I heard it's good for stress. I heard it's good for aches and pains. So what I did is I went to a yoga studio that was close by my house. I live in Vista. The name of that yoga studio was called Yoga Vista, and it was owned by Lisette. So way back then, in 2001, I went to Lisette's yoga studio. And I loved it. I absolutely fell in love with it. It felt so good. Like my body needed such a good stretch. I couldn't believe it, right? But then I ended up going to a class that was taught by a 79-year-old yoga teacher at Lisette's studio. Her name was Mary Kavanaugh. And I said, oh my gosh, I want to be like her when I grow up. 79, vibrant, energetic, flexible, full of energy, red hair, okay? And I said, okay, I don't know if I'll go with red hair, but I said, I want that. I want to feel like that, because by that time I was in my late 40s and I wasn't feeling like that. I was feeling tired and exhausted and sore and tight. So I ended up training with her. So that's kind of where my passion for this kind of community, came in. So I'll fast forward to when I turned 50 years old. Lisette came to me and said, Sherry, I am pregnant with my first child, and I am running the studio, and I am overwhelmed. Would you buy the studio for me? I'm like, what? I'm still teaching. I'm still, working in my high-tech job. I'm traveling all over the world. How can I own a studio? But I did. I bought the studio when I turned 50, and I ran it for 10 years. And when I turned 60, which was last year, I gave it back to Lisette. So now she owns the studio here again. So it's full circle. It's a wonderful adventure. So I thought that would be a nice tie-in to understand. Lisette and I go back really, really far, and it's been a wonderful adventure for us. So that's a little bit of my story. I also record a lot. As you can see, I've got cameras in here because I teach to teachers all over the world. I have people who graduate from my program from Australia, and Poland, Germany, South America, everywhere. And they learn by looking at these videos. Okay, so that's kind of one reason why we're doing that. Okay, let's go into the 3 things that we lose when we age. First thing?
Flexibility.
Good.
Balance.
Good. I'm talking about body. If we saw somebody that we said, oh, they're kind of 50-pluser, maybe we would notice something. Their posture. Their posture, right? And we see these pictures of, somebody who's 20, and eventually now, they get to be 40, and then they get to be 50, and all of a sudden 60 and 70. How did that happen? How does this happen, right? It's not meant for the body to kind of cave in on itself, right? So that's the first thing we're going to explore. Okay, so if you guys can just turn to your handout, and I'll kind of point out a few pictures I want to show to you. Do you see how that lady starts off nice and tall and straight? And then eventually she rounds and rounds and rounds.
Page 4.
Okay, page 4, okay. This one, you guys see this one? Okay. So I got this one because this is a graphic of what they say is osteoporosis. Do we see this one, you guys? So that's what we expect is going to happen to us when we age. We're just going to get shorter and we're going to be rounded over, right? And then I have a picture of one of my students in my class, and you can see that this lady reflects that, doesn't she? This is a before. You should see the after of her after she's been in yoga for a couple of years. All right, so we know that, you know, there's something we can do about that. So the next page, I have a picture of a worn tire. Okay, so what happens when we don't stand up straight or when our joints don't line up straight? We're going to be wearing out our body, especially our joints. How many people have arthritis? Yeah, look at how many of us, right? And the reason that happens, you guys, could be hereditary, absolutely. Could be you had an injury in that joint way back when, but it could be that that joint is not lining up. And if that joint doesn't line up for any reason, it starts to rub itself. And it's going to rub in a kind of uneven way. And that's going to create a little bit of the bone spurs that happen, and that's what arthritis is. It's basically the body is creating bone to protect itself, but in the wrong place, and that causes pain. So one thing, okay, so everybody take their right foot out in front of you. I want you to point and flex your foot. Good. Now, we're going to do a little motion, so watch. Hold on. Maybe you don't have to hold on. Maybe. Okay, let's see. If you have strong muscles, you won't have to hold on. Okay, the right knee is going to come up like this. And we're going to flex it like that, and then drop it and pull it in. And now I want you to do that a couple times. And now I want you to look at your toes. And I want you to notice if your hip bone, your knee bone, your ankle bone, and all your toes are lined up straight in a line. Now for me, I will have to confess that my right foot slightly turns out. Anybody notice that? It's called pronation. So that right foot slightly turns out, right? Now if that happens and we're walking along going about our merry way, we are creating some asymmetry in that leg joint, aren't we? Because everything's supposed to be all lined up, the hip, the ankle, the knee, and the toes. So what they call this is that this is our driver's foot. When we drive, right? We're using the accelerator and we're slightly angled to the right. And we do that a lot of times, don't we? Especially if you have a stick shift, a lot of times. So what you're doing is you're etching in a movement pattern in your foot that creates a little bit of asymmetry. What do you think, what movement do you think we should do to counteract that? Think about it. This is a test part, you guys, because I want you to start to understand what can go wrong in your body and how you can catch it or correct it. Circle inward. Circle the ankle inward. Right, exactly. So if you ever notice that, if you ever see that, sometimes I'll catch myself standing at the sink with one foot out and one foot like that. And I know. So you're standing like this for a period of time and you're etching in your muscle and your structure here. So I'll be looking down, I'm going, oh, that's right, I gotta make sure everything's all straightened up. So in yoga, we call this Tadasana pose, which is mountain pose. Strong, straight, resilient. So think about that the next time you stand up, right? So that's something about why we get arthritis, because things don't line up. Think about when you're walking now, and if that foot is slightly sideways, then the knee joint is a little off, isn't it? And then the hip joint's a little off. So all of that can create arthritis just because you're driving a lot, right? So all of those patterns that we have really reflect that. So let's look at this picture real quick. See all these postures? I love these silhouettes. I like to say every single person in this picture has a posture problem, right? Wouldn't we agree? Do you think these people have pain? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go really quickly and just see. I want to see how tuned your eyes are to this. That first person, where do you think this person has a pain? Neck. Upper back. Look at the weight that's pulling down on that. He's got to be so tight in that upper back. What about his knees? Right? His knees are kind of hyperextended backwards. I bet he's got a lot of knee pressure there too, right? The second person?
Lower back.
Yep, lower back, knees again, shoulders, neck, all of that. What about this one? I love this one, the third one over. I say that these are the strut ladies, right? Those young girls that have their stilettos on and, you know, they're like da-da-da, right? Look at that low back. That's got to be killing her, right? There's so much tension in that. Okay, the person in the center is supposed to be the perfect posture, but I actually think she's leaning a little bit, don't you think? She's leaning forward. So if she's leaning forward, which I tend to do because I'm kind of a go-getter and I'm always moving, your knees will lock, and that will cause a little bit of knee pain. All right, what about this guy? I call him the no-neck guy. The no-neck, right? Yeah, too much beer, probably, yeah. Low back, got to be a problem on that one, right? And his neck and shoulders have got to be super tight. And then the other guy, the second to the last guy, this guy has basically no muscle tone. He's just flopping, right? He's just kind of hanging there, right? I think he's got some low back issues and neck. And then the last one, the military guy. We always think that that's good posture, you guys, but it's really not. It's too rigid. It's too rigid. And if you tend to have tension in your shoulder blade area, then you're standing a little too much like this, okay? And I tend to do that. I love to see you adjust, right? I love when I do this and people are like, oh, I gotta catch myself, right? So just, you kind of catch yourself how you're sitting, and all these postures lead to pain. Now, if we fast forward decades of this kind of posture problem, do you think by the time you're 70, 80, and 90, you're in pain? Yes. You are in a lot of pain if you don't catch your posture soon enough, right? So everybody know what a dowager's hump is? It's that little hump in the back, right, of your neck. You know how that's caused, you guys? It's caused when your head is protruded forward. You want to have your ears over your shoulders, so right sideways. As soon as I go like this with my neck forward, I'm creating this little dowager's hump. So that's why I added this little picture of my partner. Justine's my partner, teacher trainer. And she has a tendency, because she's 6'4", to do that because she doesn't want to be tall, right? So she kind of hunches down. And she started in her 30s to have that little dowager's hump there. When she aligns herself, that dowager's hump goes away. So a lot of times, you guys, it's just alignment. It's not like some kind of deformity. You got to catch yourself. So what we're going to do is let's see if we can do it. Take your index finger on your chin. Okay, I call this the rooster head. So I want you to just move your chin forward. I'm going to go sideways. It goes like this. Forward, back, forward, back, right? So no shoulders moving, just head. First of all, if you have that mobility, you're in good shape. You're in good shape because that means the neck still is not locked into place, right? And now when your chin is back, you tuck it down a little bit. And then do you feel a little stretch down here? Right in here? Yeah. So what I do when I'm driving, I call this the headrest push. When you're driving your car, they have a nice little headrest, right? You're driving, maybe stopped at a light, you do that thing. You push the back of your head into the headrest, right? So you got a little bit of kind of pressure there. Tuck your chin, and now you've just lengthened your neck. Because what happens when you do this, you're shortening your neck, right? Remember the no-neck guy, right? He's doing this, and this whole area is super, super short. And then, of course, gets everything tight. So you want to do this and lengthen it, okay? Does that make sense? So now when you're driving and I see you at the stoplight, I'll say, yeah, she's doing the headrest push, right? So all of those little movements to keep everything mobile. That's the whole point about joints. Joints are meant to move, right? A joint is an intersection that moves. Sometimes they rotate fully, like your shoulders. Sometimes they hinge, like your knee. So even your neck is a joint. We've got to move it, right? So we'll get those all corrected. So every single year on your birthday, I tell my students to do this, and I want you to do this. You stand against the wall. You stand against the wall to see what touches. What did I say about your alignment? Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, knees over ankles. If you're not lined up, you will know it when you stand up against the wall. So we're going to have Lisa stand up against the wall. When's your birthday?
December.
Oh, okay. Well, we skipped her birthday. It's a belated birthday test for her. Okay. So against the wall. And you know, she's a yoga teacher, so we know, okay, we know what's going to be going on here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to be far enough from the wall so that you have a little bit of, space for your butt. And one of my teachers uses this phrase, I love it. And they say, well, how far away from the wall should you be? Well, it depends on how much treasure is in your trunk, right? So there you go. So however it is so that your bottom is touching, right? Then you want to touch your head backwards, have your shoulder blades touching, right? And there's that alignment perfectly. Now, this is what I'll see a lot of times with people who have that forward head carriage. This, right? Because they cannot get their head back like this, And they do the best they can, and they look like that. So that's one of the pictures you'll see. Now, let's look at Lisa's hands. Come over here a little bit closer. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay. So you can have a seat. Now, everyone's going to stand up because I'm going to look at you. You're not on the camera, right? But I'm going to look at you. Everybody stand up, and I want you to stand as if you were standing against the wall. Remember the alignment of our feet. You might even catch that right now. You might notice that one foot's turned out. If it is, straighten it all out. And then stand up. Remember, not like the military, just soft. Oh, actually go like this, you guys. Let's wiggle it. Yeah, wiggle it all about. All right, good. And then now stand. Okay, I'm looking around. Okay, and then have a seat. So this is what I see in some of you, and this is an important thing. When we stand, to have nice alignment and comfortable posture, right? We don't want to feel like if we were standing for 3 hours, we would be so uncomfortable, we would just be, everything would just cave in. So when we're in comfortable posture, our shoulder joints are aligned, they're comfortable, okay? That means your palms are facing inward. See how my palms are facing inward? That means my shoulders are nice and lined up. What I noticed in a few of you is that the palms are facing backwards. What happened there? What just happened there when I did this? My shoulders rolled forward. That's called humerus deviation. Oh my gosh, that sounds so serious, doesn't it? Oh, what is humerus deviation? I know. It's not funny, right? The humerus bone is the upper arm bone, and it goes into your shoulder socket, right? But if it's rolled forward, what happens, you guys, right? We get out of alignment, our head is coming forward, and look at how many times we are in humerus deviation mode. When we're driving, when we're typing, when we're gardening, when we're reading, all of those things create this motion. All right, so here's a test. What do we do to do the opposite? Yes, look at that. Just take those shoulders and roll them backwards. Now the muscle that's the culprit of having your shoulders like this is your pecs. Now we know what they look like when they're really developed in guys, right? They're like these nice pec muscles. But we have them and they're super, super important. And what we want to do is we want to broaden the pecs, right? We want to broaden them. So a lot of times just, maybe the hands on your shoulders like this, even these little motions like this, yeah. Good, yeah. And then we can go in and out like that a little bit, yeah. So everybody feel that little opening? Good. Now take your arms all the way out wide. This is where you might get your neighbor. Yeah, take your thumbs, face them up. Take your arms back a little bit. Oh yeah, and then a little flap like that. Oh, does that feel good? That feels so good. That's the pectoral muscles. We have two of them, the minor and the major. That little motion is important. Then take your hands and just swing them. Yeah. So now you know. You're gonna be looking now at people in the grocery store line and you're going, oh my gosh, her palms are rolled backwards. She's got humerus deviation, right? So just catch yourself in that. If your shoulders are rolled forward, right? Your palms go backwards. And guess what? Remember the military posture? So if you see someone like this, you know they have tension in their upper back. So it's that. It's comfortable, right? It's not slouchy and it's not rigid. It's comfortable, right? That's everything about posture is just comfort. We should feel so super comfortable standing. It's like no big deal. The other part of the birthday test is come to the wall again, Lisa. This is where you really can check your shoulder mobility. Take one arm in cactus, which is this 90 degree, yeah. And the back of your hand should touch the wall. What about the other arm? Both of them, yeah, right? And a lot of times it doesn't. I will tell you that. A lot of times it'll be more like this than it is like this. And this is your rotator cuff. The ability to move your hand like this so that your fingers are pointing all the way up, good, and your elbow is in line with your shoulder. Yeah, right. So one of my teachers does this little motion like this, like a little paddle like that, yeah. You feel that, don't you feel that in your shoulders? So be careful, we don't want to overstretch anything, but that's the mobility that we want to have for the rotator cuff. So is everyone going to go against the wall when you get home? Yeah, maybe after class when the cameras are off. I want you to go against the wall and just be curious, right? Be curious and see how you're lined up. Thank you so much. All right, great. All right, so that's the birthday test. So we'll be doing some of these poses when we do our full-length class, okay? One of the best things you can do to get your posture lined up, and you'll know that after you go to the wall, is to lay flat on the floor with your legs up on the wall. What page is this?
Page 7. Yeah.
Super duper, absolutely the best yoga pose you can do. Does that look hard? This does not look hard. But yeah, that's true. You can do it in your bed. You can do it in your bed. You can stack some pillows up so that your legs are up on the pillows, but your back is perfectly flat. You see that? And you see the gentleman there? His hands cannot go all the way back, right? Remember we just talked about that against the wall? If you're in this little cactus arms and your arms don't go back, he's propped up with some blocks that help him. So that will slowly stretch open his chest. That's his wife next to him, and she's doing it all the way, so she doesn't need those blocks, right? So this is a wonderful couple, and they've been doing these little poses a couple years, and he has made a lot of big progress.
Can I ask a question? So by using those blocks, that will eventually encourage them
Yes,
to open up.
exactly.
So you can make progress even if you are not there right now.
Right, and that's a good point, Lisa, because what you want to do if you're laying down and your arms are not touching the floor, you're going to be straining something, right? Gravity is going to be pulling those arms without support, and it's not going to be comfortable, and you might, overexert yourself. That's why the blocks are there. The blocks are there just to support the opening, and then maybe eventually you just put like a rolled up towel, and you can go lower and lower as your body starts to open more, right? Okay, so let's go to the second thing. This is a fun one. The second thing we lose when we age is our pelvic mobility. All right, so here's the test. Everybody put one hand or both hands on your pelvis. I want to see how much you guys know about anatomy, just making sure. Yeah, that's your pelvis. So those bones right here, right? The pelvis is the horizontal and the spine is the vertical. And where they meet is the SI joint. Anyone ever hear of the SI joint? That can get out of alignment. If one hip's higher than the other, your low back cramps up, that can happen, right? So you want to have the ability to move your pelvis that way, forward and back, round and round. And this is the secret, and we're all women, so I will share this with you. The pelvic floor, right underneath where you pee and you poo, is the most important place to keep healthy as we age. Why? Because it's bladder control, bladder retention, and also organ prolapses, which I see a lot more. I hate to see it, but I see it a lot more, especially even in my family too. So I'm really big on getting in touch with the pelvic area of our bodies, right? So we're going to be doing some great poses for that. So the best exercise for your pelvis is hula hooping. Yes. And I found this on the web. There's two older people, I don't know how old, maybe they're 80s or 90s, I don't know. They're hula hooping. Okay, you guys don't believe me? Let's stand up. Come on, we got to do it. Put your things on the chair, hands on your hips, and here we go. Roll it around. Yes, that's it. Yeah. And do you see how that's going to loosen up your back? Go the other way, right? It's going to loosen up your hips. It's going to make everything kind of be fluid. Yeah, good. You got it. And then sit back down. All right. So we're going to see if we can do the pelvic tilt. Okay. Paper's got to go on the floor again because this is another little active one. We're going to sit, and I'm going to go sideways so you can see how this works. We're going to sit with our hands open like this, and I want you to sit on your hands, okay? So if you've got a ring, I want you to turn it around so that ring is not digging into you, okay? Or take it off. Okay, so when you're sitting on your hands, you should feel your sit bones. You know what those are? Those are the two really kind of prominent bones right there on the bottom. They're called sit bones. Why? Because we sit on them. But guess what? A lot of people don't sit on them. Okay, we're going to watch this. Watch. We're going to roll backwards. Do those sit bones roll off your fingertips almost? They do. Now roll forward, and then roll forward like that. Like arch your back. Like remember like that woman with the stilettos? Yeah. And then we go like this. Roll backwards. Good. This is called the bucket seat. This is the worst way to sit ever, you guys. Terrible for your back. Up on your sit bones. Good. Perfect. But forward. What do you think? Low back. Problem. Yeah. So that ability, you can take your hands off. That ability to do this motion is super important. You can see how that's going to keep your low back healthy, right? It's going to help with your posture. And now you know, never ever get a car with a bucket seat. Ba-da-da-da-da, right? The worst thing you could do for your back. And that's why some people have postures like this. See how flat their back is? Their pelvis is tucked under. Then the opposite we saw with that woman. That one, right? When she's like strutting her stuff, and you know how bad that is for the back. So now the pelvis, there's 2 bones there, and they're like headlights. They should be flashing right forward, right? They shouldn't be facing down towards the floor, and they shouldn't be facing up towards the ceiling. So that's where you're gonna find your nice pelvic movement and posture, right? So it's called the cat-cow, and if you go in any yoga class, if it's chair yoga, mat yoga, I don't know, any kind of yoga, you will do a pose called cat-cow, which is just this. It's the pelvic arch and tuck. And see how much the spine is involved in that? The upper back, the lower back. Then you can get your neck involved. Watch, you can do like this arch, and you can do like this and round it. Oh yeah. So I teach to people in wheelchairs, and this is one of the most important movements they need to do. They need to get everything moving in their spine because every nerve in your body travels through your spine. So that's why the spine, they always say, the health of your spine shows the health of your body. All right, so let me move on. We just did that little test there. Oh, we're gonna do some fun things when we have our class. The last one we lose is our muscle strength. Our muscle strength. So these are your muscles of independence. I love this. I got that phrase from one of my teachers, and I think that is so descriptive of what these muscles are. These are the muscle groups that help you get out of the chair. Now, I think it was almost 10 years ago when they came up with those nice recliners that actually there's a button and it just lifts you up and you could just stand up automatically. You didn't have to use any muscles. Yay! I think that was the detriment of a lot of people's health because we need to have those muscles. Those are our muscles of independence. They get us up the stairs and down the stairs and walking and squatting and picking things up. So right now, let's just see how strong those muscles are, okay? We're gonna have our feet flat, right? So remember, no cattywampus feet, right? And we're just gonna try to stand up without using our hands or anything, just like this. We did that okay? Yay, okay, so now go ahead, come back down. Now bring your hands like this. So we know we're not gonna use any arms and we're gonna go up like this. Up, very good, and down. Good, we're gonna do it again. And down. Yes, we're gonna do it again. And guess how many times I do this in my class, you guys? At least 20 to 25 times. Yeah, and one more time. Yes, very good. Good, and then release it. And then go like this and shake it out. Okay, so another little tip. Okay, first of all, I'll tell you what muscles we're working so you know. We're working these quad muscles right here. These muscles here in your thighs, they contribute to the health of your knees. So what we talked about, when you get older, gravity starts to compress things. Your joints are going to compress. Your knees are going to compress, right? They're going to get closer together. What can we do to get that top of that knee joint lifted up a little bit? It's hard to do that. The quads do that. That little dimple right here, way back when we used to have one, right? I know we did. Okay, so bring one leg straight and just really, really kind of lift it up a little bit. Oh yeah, you could feel that muscle. You feel that, you guys? You want to feel this. You want to feel like there's an engagement here. There's like this little dimple here because that muscle pulls up your kneecap. And even a little millimeter in there is going to give you a sense of relief if you have arthritis in your knees. And the only way you're going to do that is if you work that muscle. So we do this, we call this the blast off because we count down. We go up and down. But I'm going to give you another tip. How many times do you brush your teeth a day? Once, twice at least, right? This is what you do. Oh, I have so much homework for you guys. Okay, so you're gonna stand against the wall in your house. Good alignment, head, shoulders, hips. Knees are bent, doesn't have to be super bent, right? Just a little bit like this, and you're gonna brush your teeth like this. That's what you're gonna do. You're just gonna brush your teeth. 2 minutes. That's a lot of strength. That's a lot of strength. And guess what the secret of this benefit is? These muscles here are getting strong, right? The muscles in the back of your legs are getting strong. But most importantly, the muscles in between your legs are getting strong. And guess what these are? These are your pelvic floor muscles. They're attached to your pelvic floor. These are the muscles that are gonna help you hold your pee. So if these muscles are tight and they're engaged and they're strong, they're gonna help you with that whole bladder thing, as well as what we're doing right now, making the quads really strong. So all of these little tidbits are gonna just make you have stronger legs and stronger postures, right? So we'll be doing some of those fun things as well. All right. Oh, we got to look at this one because if you don't believe me, I'm going to show you that this can really happen. This is a picture of a lady that has taken my chair yoga class.
14.
Okay? And I said, Maggie, I've got to take a picture of you. I've got to, and I've got to tell your story. It's really important. So what happened to Maggie? She was a secretary for over 30 years of her life. She sat all the time. She said she never, ever exercised. It was back in the day. I think Maggie's probably in her maybe late 70s now. Back in the day, they just didn't exercise, didn't go to the gym, whatever. And so the doctor told her that she had no strong gluteus muscles. Where's the gluteus muscle? Your butt. But guess what? There's 3 gluteus muscles. Do you know that? There's the gluteus maximus, we always think is the big one, right? But there's 2 really super important ones. They're these gluteus medius and minimus. They're little like pizza pie shapes right here. Those are the ones that need to keep your hips in place and stabilize you. Those are the ones that if you try to balance and they're not strong, you're gonna lose your balance, especially if you're standing on one leg, right? Can you see when I'm standing on one leg how much this hip muscle has to like pull in and keep you strong? So what happened to her is she had no strength in her outer gluteus muscles and her big butt muscles. So what happened is her joints collapsed on each other. She's had 2 hip replacements, a knee replacement, and going for the 4th joint replacement. Just because she didn't have those strong muscles of independence. And do you think she's very independent right now? She's not. So we can catch all those things, and we're gonna do some poses for those outer hip muscles that you're gonna like wake up. I didn't know that they were there, right? So we'll be doing some fun things. All right, so I think we're ready for our class. Anybody have any questions? There's a lot more information in here I hope that you look at when you go home, but I thought a lot of times it's just doing, right?
Maybe I missed it, but what, the page that has a birthday, what does that mean?
Birthday
Against the wall?
Every year on your birthday, once a year.
That's when you're supposed to.
Yeah, it's just a reminder, right? So for me, I always get my annual exams near my birthday. It's just a reminder for me. It's like, okay, on my birthday, I gotta make sure I get all my good stuff checked, right? It's just another little thing. On my birthday, I always stand against the wall and just see, because you'll catch yourself, right? Because all of a sudden, if you don't do it for 10 years, and all of a sudden, oh, how did my head all of a sudden get so forward? I don't understand, right? We'll catch it every year. All right, so let's get into our place. Make sure you can go like this, right, and stretch. And then I'm gonna move some of my props out. Was that useful, ladies? Did you learn some good things? Yay, good, good, good. Welcome to Chair Yoga. This will be about a 20-minute class because we ended up starting a little later. But we're going to do the best we can in getting a little bit of a taste of what Chair Yoga is all about. The very first thing we do in our yoga classes, and you'll see this in all yoga classes, is we center ourselves. We just find ourselves present. We find our breath. So I want you to just close your eyes, hands on your laps. Now you can have your palms facing down on your lap, which is a little more kind of grounding and calming. And if you just were to flip your hands and put your palms facing up, you might notice that, wow, that was even a little shift. You can even feel that in your shoulders, right? So try it. Either way, no right or wrong, just notice what your body's saying, oh, that one feels good today. And then in our yoga class, we try to breathe in and out through our nose. So take a moment and just take that nice inhale in through your nose. Notice if both nostrils are open, and then slowly exhale out your nose. And then do that just a few times. And so people will ask, well, why is it through the nose? Why can't I breathe in or out through my mouth? And really the reason is that we're just slowing down our breath, right? The nostrils a little bit of a smaller hole, takes a little longer to kind of take that nice sip. We're also warming the air for the body to accept. And then place your right hand on your belly and your left hand on your heart. And then the next couple of breaths, I want you to breathe into the right palm, as if you can take your belly and push your belly out into the right palm. And when you exhale, just gently push that palm in a little bit so the belly comes back in. And I want you to do that a few times, and I'm going to tell you this is important because when you can distend your belly like this, it means your diaphragm is moving. So when your belly goes out, it's not the breath that's there, it's actually your organs. Your organs are getting pushed down because the diaphragm is pushing down. And when you breathe back in and tuck back in, the diaphragm pulls back up. And guess what? The diaphragm is attached to every single organ in your belly. So your liver, your kidney, your intestines, your stomach, all of that gets this nice steady flow of rhythm and stretching and breathing and prana. Prana is called energy, life force. Good. And then gently place your hands on your laps. And then I want you to tuck your chin downward. So keeping the eyes closed is always good because we'll get a little different sensations with the eyes closed. We're paying more attention to the feeling than what we're seeing. And then just notice that. That might feel good. That might feel like, oh gosh, my neck is tight. It feels good to kind of lengthen it. And then roll the right ear over towards the right shoulder. And then roll your chin back to the center and roll your left ear towards your left shoulder. So like a pendulum, right? It's just swinging side to side. And as you do that, just notice all the different sensations. Now you might notice that one side's tighter than the other. If you're right-handed, usually the right side of your neck will be tighter. And now the next time your right ear is to your right shoulder, extend your left arm all the way out to the side. Spread your fingers nice and wide, and your hand is about halfway between your hips and your shoulders. So you're like in a diagonal. And then turn your palm up facing the ceiling and turn your palm down facing the floor. Yeah, so a little rotation, not just in your wrist, but also feel that in your shoulder. And if you want to go one step further, see if you can rotate and have your palm face backwards. So palm up, palm down, and palm backwards. Yeah, that's your rotator cuff. This is the normal movement of your shoulder joint. Good. Now place your hand and your chin back to the center. We'll take it to the other side, left ear, left shoulder. Right hand reaches out. Spread your fingers. And then turn the palm up. And turn the palm down. And remember, we can do a little bigger rotation if you want to flip the palm backwards. That means the thumb is down. And we can see how we're getting into the rotator cuff. But you know those pectoral muscles we talked about? We need to stretch. We're getting those too. Good. And then gently bring your hand and your chin back to the center. Bring your fingertips to your shoulders now. Lift your head up, open your eyes, and roll your shoulders all the way back. Ooh, very good.
There's water out there.
Good. And then we're going to do something called kiss your elbow. So we're going to open up, and then we're going to go, mwah. Yes. Mwah. Good. Nice and wide. Good. Good. Then reach your arms all the way out. I call this the life force reach. So this means I want to see how much life force you have in your body. You're going to reach like you're trying to touch the edges of the room as far as you can. Just really reach. You're going to feel those muscles, right? You feel them. Now, fingertips up towards the ceiling and push your palms away. Guess what? Those are your tricep muscles. Those little muscles underneath our arms that we want to tone, this pose does that. Good. And then fingertips down. Do you see why? Do you see why? We're lengthening and we're stretching and we're making that muscle taut. And then we're going down. Good. And one more. And down. Oh, those shoulders. Yeah. Then roll it like that. Very good. And then roll it forward. Yeah. Very nice. Now we're going to do some reaching. So let's pretend we're climbing a rope. So we're going to start low and just kind of go up like this. This is going to get your spine nice and long. Okay, so once we're up as tall as we can get, let's really reach up like that and pull the rope. And really reach up and pull the rope. Yeah. So I tried this. It worked before I got measured on my annual exam. I said, I want to be a little taller, just a second. So I'm in the doctor's office going this, like I'm just reaching up. And they're like, what is that lady doing, right? And then all the way down. And then I went and I measured myself, and it was 1/4 of an inch more. I'm like, yes. So do we understand why? Do we understand why? Because we're taking the spine, which has all those joints, which all those vertebrae are joints, and we're making a little bit of space. Add all that up, and we've gotten a little taller and straighter, right? Good. Now take your legs out in front and point and flex them a little bit. Oh, let's get those feet moving. Good. And then take them out and roll them in. Good. Yeah, exactly. I know. And then the other way, take them out. Good. And now take your hands right here, like we talked about in that pelvis area, and then rotate in, rotate out. Right here in this crease, you guys. Like the thumb's on the outside and the fingers on the inside. Do you feel this? You feel that? That's the whole hip joint moving, right? So you want to be able to move your hips like this, and you won't get arthritis or have hip issues if you can move your hips, yeah, in your sockets, good. And then release it, shake it out. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of a side stretch. So I would say the one movement we don't get every single day of our life, because I think we bend down, we probably reach up, we might even twist when we're driving. But the one movement we don't get, which we really need, is to move sideways. Sideways, and that movement is so important. So let's take the right hand down, the left arm, let's start with it easy first. Yeah, here, right? So we're going to take that elbow down, up, and then we're going to bend the arm that's on the chair and lean sideways. Yeah, Does that feel good? That should feel good, right? Down, up, sideways. Good. Let's do one more. Down, up, sideways, and then the arm comes up and we just like really reach. Oh, good. And all the way back. Now we got to go the other side. Okay, so we're holding on to the chair. The other hand comes to your shoulder. We go down, up, bend the elbow, and lean. Now let's see what the breath can do. So we go like this. Inhale, exhale. Good. Inhale, exhale. Oh, that feels good. All right, and then shake it out a little bit. We're going to add to it. This is one of my most favorite ones. I think you guys will like this one. Let's take the legs out nice and wide. Okay. So how's that feel so far? Okay? Everybody's good? All right. We're going to warm up the low back a little bit. So let's take the left shoulder, I'm mirroring you, over towards the right like this. Then come back up. And the other way. Oh, is it tight back there? Oh, yes. Isn't it? Do you think we need to do this every day? Yeah. We do. We do. Okay? Now, when you come back up, we're going to add one little super stretch. Watch. Left shoulder, right knee. Take your left hand, reach out in front of you and open and close your fingers. Oh, yeah. No, diagonal. Yeah, that's right. You're getting the low back. Right? Good. Come back in. Let's do the other way. Opposite shoulder, opposite knee. And then reach the right hand and open and close. Good. And then when you come back, now we're going to do a full circle. It looks like this. Roll in the front, roll and around. Yeah, it's called stirring the pot. Oh, yeah, stirring the pot. Oh, that feels so good. We need to do this every day. Okay, now we're going to do the stir the pot a little bit more challenging. Okay, so grab the hold of the ladle. We're going to go the opposite way in the circle, and it goes like this. Yeah, so we're just kind of stirring the pot. Yeah. So that uses a little bit more of your core strength, right? You feel that a little bit because you're leaning, and that core has to keep you from not doing a face plant. Yeah, all the way down. Good. And when you come back to the center, we're going to swing our legs sideways. So I'm going to mirror you. So I'm going to say it's my left knee in the front. My right knee drops down. So we're looking like this, like we're sideways in the chair. Yeah, the back foot is tucked under because it's like a kickstand. It's going to hold you. But you want yourself to be completely sideways, right? So you're facing sideways. Hold on to the chair with your left hand and take your right hand on your shoulder. We're going to do that little dip again like we did with the elbow. This one's going to feel even better. Watch. It goes elbow down, elbow up, lean sideways in the chair. Yeah, good. Now, the next time the elbow goes down, see if you can get that right hip to come up and touch it. Yeah, that's important. And then drop the right hip down a little bit and lift the right elbow up. Oh, good. And one more time. Down and then up. Whew. Very good. Let's rotate to the other side and get even Steven. Did that feel good? Everybody okay with that one? That's a super one, huh? Okay, so here we go. That right knee's in the front, left hand is on your shoulder. We're holding on. Tuck your toes, hon, if you can. Yeah, then the elbow goes down. The elbow comes up. We lean into the chair and the elbow's up. Yeah. Now we're going to do that one extra movement. The hip comes up and the elbow goes down. We're purposely contracting that. Good. Then we're dropping the elbow and the elbow comes up. Good. And one more time. Crunch it up. Lift it up and stretch it all the way. Maybe the arm reaches up. Oh, yeah. Good, and all the way back. Good, and when you come back into that nice little wide straddle, and we're just going to do the cat-cow. You remember what the cat-cow is? Pelvic tilt and round. Yeah. So anytime you move your body in a twist or laterally, which means sideways, you always come back to neutral, which is this movement here. Yeah, gets the spine all lined up again. Good. And then come all the way back in. Shake it out a little bit. All right, so we are going to do blast off. We won't do 20 of them, but I think we should do 10. I think we should count down. We'll go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and blast off, okay? So we'll be up and down. So let me give you a couple of options, okay? So if you're finding that it's hard on your knees and it's hard to do, swing your arms, okay? It's easier because the momentum helps you swing. Okay? If you want it more challenging, we did this before, right? It's hugging your shoulders. And if you want it super challenging, keep your spine completely vertical. Don't lean. Okay? So whatever options, and you could interwave all of them, or you can not even do it. Okay? So don't worry. We're going to start with 10. Here we go. 10. Remember those feet lining up. Good. 9. Good. Can you count with me? 8. Good. 7. 6, 5, good. Halfway. 4, 3, 2, 1, and arms up, blast off. Yay, we made it. All right, shake it out, you guys. All right, so now we're gonna do some standing moves, okay? So I want you to get behind your chair. Are you guys ready for rest yet? I told you I was gonna work you a little bit, right? So take your chair in front of you, and we're gonna work a little bit on pelvic mobility. We're gonna do something called the celebrity moves. I got this from one of my teachers, and it's just so clever. It's kind of cute. So the very first one we're gonna do is called Elvis moves his pelvis, okay? So we know back in the day, Elvis was really risque, right? So we're gonna have the right foot come out in front of us, like at an angle, okay? Both knees are bent, okay? So you never wanna lock your knee. This is actually like a qigong and a tai chi movement. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make that hula hoop movement, right? So we're rolling into the hip and the knees and the ankles, right? We're keeping those joints nice and mobile. So not just the pelvis, all those joints move. Now, go the other way, and then take the right hand and do anything with the right hand that kind of mimics that, right? Just roll it around. Yeah. So Elvis moving the pelvis. Yeah. Good. Love it. Woohoo. Okay, guess what? Other side. So here we go. Left foot points out, 45 degrees. Both knees have got to bend. Why do we have to bend our knees? Because we're rolling in the knee joint and the ankle joint, right? If we lock it, we're going to tweak our knees. So just roll it around. Yeah, good. Getting those outer hip muscles to work, huh? And then we'll go the other way and then take the left arm and just whoop it up. Whoop it up. Yeah. Woohoo. All right. Good. All right, and then shake it out. Okay, so the next celebrity is going to be Marilyn Monroe. It's the strut. It's the strut. Hands to your hips. We've got our stilettos on, okay? So we're going to go up on one tiptoe, and we're going to move that hip out like that. And then we're going to alternate that. Oh, yeah. Those are those hip muscles I talked about that stabilize you when you balance. Yeah, we're using those. Yeah, strutting. Good. Very good. And we're contracting this muscle here, and then we're stretching that muscle, right? This muscle is an important one to keep your low back healthy. Good. All right, very good. The next one is Tom Jones. He's a little more tamer, okay? So let's take one hand on the hip, the other hand's gonna hold the microphone. The knees are bent, and we're just gonna roll around like this. Okay, name a Tom Jones song. Delilah?
Unusual.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Other direction. All right, good. All right, shake it out. And the last one is a little more risque. It is Michael Jackson. Okay? So this is how it looks. Right hand open wide on your belly. Left hand open wide like this. So the shoulder rolls backwards. Good. And bend your knees. It's the pelvic tilt. Woo. Yeah. We saw that. How many times have we done this today? Why is this so important? Right? Health of your pelvic floor, health of your low back. Good. And then release it. Okay, so thank you, celebrities, for visiting us today. All right? So let's do a real traditional yoga pose. Okay, we've done a lot of fun things, and I kind of incorporate fun and education together, but this is a true yoga pose. It's called warrior. Okay? So you're holding on to the chair. The right foot's going to stay. The left foot's going to step back, a foot or two. The back foot angles 45 degrees so that the heel is down. You know why the heel is down? Because we're stretching our calf. You feel that, huh? You feel that? Yeah. Bend your right knee. Do you know that your calf is considered your second heart? It pumps the blood from your feet back to your heart. So that is a muscle that you have to work. It has to be strong. Now take one arm in that cactus position. Remember that line alignment? Good. In that angle, 45 degrees. Yeah. And then the other arm. Yeah. Very good. All right, and then take the hands forward, good, and open, yeah. So we're working our balance, right? Because we're moving and we're trying to stay strong. Do you think we're getting strong muscles of independence in our legs? We are. I'm tricking you, aren't I? Yeah. We think we're just moving our hands. Good, and then bring all the hands down, and we're gonna do 3 push-ups. Because you know what? They said that the typical 80-year-old cannot lift 10 pounds. So we got to get these arms strong, and we're going to do push-ups. So what we do is we're going to bend the elbows, and we're going to lower down, and then we're going to push back up. Good. Keep the elbows tugged in, not out, wide. Good. That's it. What muscles are we using? biceps and triceps. Remember that underarm area we want to get toned? This is what's going to do it. Good, and all the way. Good, and then step forward, and now it's going to be the opposite. Okay, so the left foot's going to stay, right foot's going to step back. We're going to remember to take that little angle, right? So the heel is down, the calf should feel like it's stretching, and then the left foot, left knee is going to bend. And the right arm, good, you got it. And then the other arm. Now this is a different shoulder movement. Let's just see, okay, we're exploring. We're gonna bring the hands up and almost pretend we can touch our thumbs together. That's kind of how I want you to be, yeah. And then I want you to bring your elbows down to your waist like you're trying to squeeze your elbows as low as you can. Good, you got it. Here we go, up. Good, so this is your shoulder health. Your shoulder blades slide up and down your back, right? And if you had frozen shoulder, you wouldn't be able to do this. So you guys are doing good. Good, now when it's down really, really tight, take your hands out in front. Then out and in. What muscles are you feeling? Do you feel those back muscles? Right in between your shoulder blades? Those are your rhomboids. Hold it out now, you guys. That's what keeps your posture nice and strong and straight. You feel those muscles working, right? Good, then bring your arms out. Good, to the chair. Guess what? 3 more push-ups. Here we go. Inhale, breath. Exhale, going down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, going down. Inhale, coming up. And one more. Down and up. Good. Come all the way forward, and let's take one leg and shake it, and the other. And now the one I promised you that we would do is get into these side hip muscles. Remember the ones that were shaped like a little pizza wedge? We're going to get into those right now. So hold on to the chair because this is a balance. The right foot is going to go out to the side. This is where you will really notice if you pronate, which means your toes go outwards, right? And if they are going out, I want you to try to make them almost go the opposite, like you're really trying to go pigeon-toed. Do you feel that muscle right there? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, girl. That's it. That's the muscle that we want to hold. Every time we hold it, it's getting stronger, right? And then bring it back in. And then I'd call this skiing, so it's just this little movement like this. It stretches those muscles out, so just go side to side. Yeah, a little ski in there. Good, let's do it to the other side. So the left foot's gonna go out, and remember, we want the toes facing completely forward, and if they don't, I want you to slightly turn them in on a pigeon-toed. Good. We feeling it? Side of the hip? Good, and then come back. Oh, you might be a little sore tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, just stretch it out. Good. All right. I know, that's right. Now come on down. Okay, so we're gonna end our class, come on down to seated, with a dance. So I am really big at doing fun things in the chair. And one of my teachers a couple years ago got me into doing chair yoga dancing. It's the most fun thing you can do. It's cardio exercise. It's not really bad for the joints, and it's really fun. So this song is called I Live on the Corner of Joy and Gratitude. So isn't that a nice sentiment? So we're going to bring a little joy and gratitude in our life, okay, with this song. And it's actually was created by a local woman. She's from Vista. And I listened to it one time when I went to the Unity Way Church. Anybody know Unity Way over there? I went there, and this lady was singing that song. I said, that's a chair yoga dance song. I love it. Okay, so this is where it came from. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to skip in the chair. So skipping is alternate hands, alternate arms. Or alternate legs, alternate arms. Yeah, good, you guys got it, right? Yay, all right, so that's a skip. You can go heel or you can go toe. You can just alternate, right? And then she says, I'm putting my happy on, okay? That's our happy. And she's singing her favorite song, so we're gonna sing like that. Favorite song, right? And then we're gonna skip again because we're super happy. Yeah, and the reason why we're super happy is because we live on the corner of joy, oh, so joyful, and gratitude, yes, to the heart, gratitude, right? And that's pretty much it, you guys. We're gonna do maybe one movement that looks like this, okay? We'll open up those legs a little bit and we'll go like that. And everything else, just follow along, okay? You guys ready? Yes. All right, you're not on video, so don't worry if you screw up, okay? Woo, here we go. We're gonna skip.
Living at the corner of joy and gratitude. I got my happy on.
We're gonna sing.
Living my favorite song.
Good, skip again.
Flowers are blooming and skies are always blue.
And where do we live?
Living at the corner of joy and gratitude.
Good. Let's do go out like this.
I'm my own
A little work. Yeah, why not?
Celebration.
Hey, it's the Charleston, isn't it?
Reason each day the occasion.
Keep them out like this.
Celebrate being alive.
Yay, we're alive, yeah. Good, come back, we're gonna skip again.
Living at the corner of joy and
Do I hear the clicks?
gratitude.
Yeah. Put the happy on.
I got my happy on,
Let's sing.
singing my favorite song.
Skip again.
Flowers are blooming and skies are always blue.
And where do we live?
Living at the corner of joy and gratitude.
Good, little hip work. One leg, watch.
Life is
Up.
for living.
Good. And a big circle.
I'm gonna live it.
Good, the other one. Oh, so like a little push-up, isn't it? Oh.
Giving and I'm gonna give it
Wide again.
to celebrate being alive.
Keep it up, we're gonna sway. We are so happy. Woo.
Happy, joyous, and
Now
free.
skip. Woo.
Living at the corner
Oh, that
of
snuck in there,
joy
didn't
and
it?
gratitude.
Put the happy on.
I got my happy on,
Let's sing.
living my favorite song.
Good, skip again.
Flowers in bloom and skies are always blue.
Such coordination.
Living at the corner of joy and gratitude.
Two more of those.
Living at the corner of joy and gratitude. Living at the corner of
Joy, hold it.
and gratitude.
Do, 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 do. Bum, bum. Yay! All right, whoa. Right on time. How's your breath? Okay, put your hand on your heart. Close your eyes and just feel that sensation. Just feel it. That is vitality. Those are your vital organs working for you. That's your heart pumping your blood. That is your lung capacity. If you're sweating, that is your ability to exert, right? And just enjoy that. Just take a few moments. We'll get everything to settle down, so we're just resting ourselves right now. And if you haven't felt that sensation in a while, that's the endorphins. When Lisette said that yoga makes you feel good, right? This is the reason why. You're so proud of yourself right now. Look what we just did. The body is so miraculous. And then gently open your eyes. Ooh. Ooh. So how was that for cardio? Did we get our heart rate up on that one? We definitely did it. Yeah, all right, you guys. All right, so thank you for your attention. I hope it is. I know. And so recently we've invented another cardio in the chair, and we've been doing jumping jacks. Jumping jacks in the chair is so good for your heart. It's so good. Anytime you move the big muscles of your body, you are working your heart. So I guarantee you, if you have high blood pressure, you need to work the big muscles of your body to get your heart stronger, and your blood pressure will come down. So the more you do cardio, and you saw that was light cardio. We didn't overexert, right? Anytime we do that, we're helping our blood pressure. We're helping our heart. Okay. So you guys have any questions or anything? You think I'll see you in one of my classes, I hope? Absolutely. I hope so. All my classes are like this. They're always fun. They're always different. I have a YouTube channel. I film these classes out there on YouTube for free. So just Google my name, Sherry Zach Morris. You have it in the handout. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can just do it at home with me. Okay, so I'm just curious. I always like to ask this. What did you learn that you didn't know? Anybody want to shout out something?
How out of shape I am.
Love it, love it. Okay, well that was a good wake-up call, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
It was, yes.
I knew that.
Yeah,
I wear the gluteals. I wasn't aware of the size.
yeah, the medius and the minimus. We never realized that, how important that is. That's our hip, they call them the hip stabilizers, right? You can imagine what that does. It stabilizes your hip joint. So if you fall, if there's nothing there to stabilize you, that's what happens to your hip joint, right? So we got to work those. And just hanging that leg out to the side, right? That helps.
I get a burning sensation there when I do this side leg lifts. What
Right.
is that?
It could be a little bursitis, which is, you know, a little bit of friction in that area. That's why holding sometimes is better than in and out and in and out. Right, right. I would say just hold. You felt that, right, when we were just holding it? It creates the same amount of strength, and then that movement will be less irritating for you, right? Yeah. Anybody like the headrest push? You'll be doing that in the car, I hope. Everybody's going to go home and do the birthday test, I hope, right? Okay. Check with your arms, right? See how that's all lined up. And when I see you in the grocery store, your palms will be facing inward, right? And your toes will be facing forward. Okay, good. All right, ladies, well, thank you so much. All right. All right, thank you. On Yoga JP TV, you'll find 60-minute classes, 30-minute classes, 5-minute educational videos, and workshops. You'll have gentle, senior, chair yoga, therapeutic yoga, and somatic yoga choices, as well as workshops too. To find out more, visit us at www.yogajptv.com.